So I've been getting bored here a little bit, and I've been waiting on parts for the Avid and doing some other stuff, working. But I just kind of wanted to make a little video about this 99 Banshee I have here. As of about an hour ago, I didn't realize it was in near as bad condition as it actually is. I was in the midst of doing a head gasket on it because I had problems with it overheating and uh, ended up finding some water in the cylinder. So I pulled the top end apart, and sure enough, head gasket was blown. And I had always had a weird problem with the Kickstarter. It would engage most times, but, well, I shouldn't say most times. Every other time, it wouldn't engage. And then you'd kind of have to kick it just right, and then it would kick in, or it would engage, and you could start it. But I figured, well, I'm here, I'm this far, I might as well take this half of the case off, the outer case, and see what's going on. When I pulled it off, I noticed that the water pump gear, is completely shattered. And so I thought, oh crap, that's probably why it was overheating. And I also noticed that this nut was sitting right here, and there's a nice little engraving in the crankcase of where it's been spinning. So I looked up here. It had spun completely off the crankshaft and was just hanging out there. So that's the heating problem. Then comes the Kickstarter problem. Here's the Kickstarter. Everything looks just fine. Everything's functioning how it is. The nylon's fine. The spring's fine. Everything's fine on the Kickstarter. Here's the gear that connects the Kickstarter to the basket to the crank. It looks all right until you put it on the shaft that it's supposed to be on, and it's very much loose. Also to note, I found a lot of this shiny, sparkly sludge down in the bottom of the crankcase. Also, the retaining clip for the nut on the inner boss for the clutch basket was bent out. Also, all of the outer crank bolts were not very tight. So I'm starting to wonder if perhaps somebody was already in this engine and saw something they didn't like, or just wanted it gone, put it back together, and sold it. All right, the engine's out, torn apart. Everything on the crankshaft is looking good. Bearings all feel very nice. Nothing sticky, nothing. There's a little bit of play in that bearing, but it's nothing I would worry about. The friction discs and clutch discs look iffy. They're probably going to get replaced. Everything on the shifting mechanism looks good. Kickstarter looks good. Transmission gears all look good. No wear, nothing out of the ordinary. Bearings feel good. Water pump is all good, aside from, of course, the gear. Both of the cases look good. No spun bearings. Nothing interfering. So as far as inside of everything, we're looking pretty good. Doing some further examining on the outer case, found some cracking where that nut was wearing into it. So I'm going to do some research, find out if that's a mag case or if it's aluminum. If it's aluminum, I can weld it. If it's a mag case, I'll probably just buy a new one. Or if it's cheap enough, I'll just buy a new case. But to sum up the story on this Banshee, it has been an absolute nightmare. I know things could be worse, but I have had electrical problem after electrical problem after electrical problem. These two of the four wheels are bent. There's a lot of stuff that's bent. The suspension is completely shot. I still don't quite have the electrical system worked out. Everything on this quad is just rickety and needs to be gone through. So keep that in mind when you're buying a cheap quad. I mean, I definitely could have worse problems, but things could also be better. This quad also had a single carb conversion, which was not tuned right at all. And rather than messing with it, I had a buddy that was selling some stock carbs, twin Makunis. So I figured, what the hell, just get the original twins back on, throw a Torres delete on it. Aside from all of this, it's actually a really fun quad. It has DG aftermarket pipes and mufflers and V-Force 4 reeds, but we'll see what we do with it. I might keep it. I might sell it. I've got this one. It's pretty nice. It's an 06. It's completely bone stock. I love it. It doesn't have the power that this one has, but if this one's going to continue to be the nightmare that it's been, I wouldn't lose a wink of sleep selling it.